Hi, in this video I'm going to talk about what are the zeros or root of a polynomial that is given in the factored form. What do you mean by factor form? If a polynomial is given like some factor and then times the another factor and then times another factor, how do you find the roots, or in other words, how do you find the zero of a polynomial? Okay, let's take an example. Here f of x equals to 4x squared times x minus 1 times x plus 2 whole cubed. Okay, so first of all, can you tell me what is the degree of this polynomial? Because it has degree 2, this has degree 1, so the total is 3. This has degree 3, so total is 6. So degree is 6. For any polynomial of degree n, it can have at most n real roots. Okay, so since this has degree 6, there can be maximum of 6 real roots. There may be less than that, but that is the maximum of 6. It cannot have 7 real roots, so it must be 6 or below. Okay, so how do we find those roots? First of all, here 4x squared is one factor, so you find a root from there. So you set each of the factor equals to 0, right? So you write 4x squared equals to 0. Now divide both sides by 4. You get x squared equals to 0. Now you take the square root. What do you get? X equals to 0. So this is one of the root. Okay. Now set the second factor equals to 0. X minus 1 equals to 0. Okay. And then what do? Add 1 on both sides. So you get x equals to 1. So this is second root. Now let's take the third factor equals to 0. So you get x plus 2 to the cubed equals to 0. So you take the cube root on both sides. You can, since there is a 0, you can just get rid of that exponent. Okay, so you write x plus 2 equals to 0. From that you can take that. I took the cube root on both sides, or in other words, I raised the power 1/3 on both sides to do that. Okay, now subtract 2. What do you get? X equals to negative 2. All right, so here the root, there are 3 roots: 0, 1 and negative 2. There are only 3 roots. So what is the degree? The degree was 6, right? But you got just 3 roots. That is possible, but make sure that, so this x is squared, right? That is x times x. So for both of those factors you get 0. So meaning that the 0 root 0 is repeated twice. Repeated twice. Because you see that it is like x squared, it is repeated twice. And but x equals to 1 or x minus 1, we obtain x equals to 1 from here. X minus 1 is repeated just once, no worries about that. Okay, so repeated once. So it is not repeated, it is just once. But here x minus 2 is obtained from that, but it is repeated 3 times, right? 3 times. So the number of times that a root is repeated is called multiplicity of the root. Okay, the number of times the root is repeated is called multiplicity of the root. So what is the multiplicity? In this example we have like multiplicity of root means the number of times the root is repeated. So in this example, in example 1, what is the root? Roots and multiplicities. Roots, multiplicities. Okay, so the root is, first root is 0, second root is 1, and third root is negative 2, right? And what is the multiplicity of 0? It is repeated twice, so the multiplicity must be 2. Second is repeated once, third is repeated 3 times. So this is how you can write a root and multiplicities. Okay, next. So here a polynomial was given in factored form, and then you were able to find out the roots and its multiplicities, right? Next thing we do is, if the roots are given, just the other way, if the roots are given, then how do we find the polynomial function? Roots and the multiplicities are given there. Okay, all right. So the idea here is, what you do is, there are roots, 1, 2, 3, 4 roots. What you do is write down the 4 parentheses for the polynomial. Okay, and then write on x minus the first root, minus 1, and then x minus the second root. So x minus negative 1 will be x plus 1, and you do x minus the third root is 2, and then x minus the fourth root is x minus 3. But what it says is where negative 1 and 2 have multiplicities 2 and 3. So negative 1, this has multiplicity 2, meaning that x plus 1 will have exponent 2. Okay, and 2 has multiplicity 3. That's what it says. Okay, so x minus 2 must have exponent 3. That is a polynomial function with the roots 1, negative 1, 2, and 3, where negative 1 and 2 has multiplicity 2 and 3. But usually what you do is you write a at the front. A is just a number. Okay, whenever you write a equals to 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, this function satisfies, this polynomial function satisfies these roots and this multiplicity. So usually what you do is you write a, so that will be the leading coefficient. You write a leading coefficient as a in the polynomial function. All right, thank you guys.